Alright, here it is, guys, the finished product. This is going to be my pinion gear puller, bearing seater, crush washer crusher. I had to make an AutoZone run for the specific setup here, the 7/8 rod and these nuts here. It requires a 1 5/16 socket. Kind of out of the norm. I didn't have one, but now I do. I also don't have an open end wrench, 1 inch and 5/16, so I got a big pair of what do you call them, adjustable pliers, I don't know what you call them, adjustable wrench, I guess you would call it. I have a really big Pittsburgh one that should be able, it has I want to say like 1.5 feet, almost 2 foot long bar on it, so should be able to get some ample torque on it. The Dom to me machine the surfaces here, weld up the washer. We have a floating washer right here. It's still pretty hot, just got done welding it a couple minutes ago. We have a nut on the top, nut on the bottom, kind of line them up and then just weld them on the bottom and top so you can fit a socket over it essentially to hold it. Let's see if I can get let me loosen this up here. So I'm actually going to apply some grease here. I put a little bit on it before I screwed it on all the way, so when this rod gets hot here, it'd have less of a tendency to seize up, because I've had that kind of happen before. So I put a little bit of grease on it. We're going to put a little bit more grease right here, then back that nut off so I can show you the front part of the tool here. Okay, that's the puller there with the coupling nut all the way back. See, the whole body slides freely. This is the other coupling nut that will attach the pinion gear threads. Has a little bit of play, which is perfect, and the surface right here fits right into the pinion flange and has a nice surface. We'll go ahead and put the washer there and put some grease, high pressure grease. We'll also put a little bit of high pressure grease on these surfaces here too, just to help preserve tool life. And let's rock and roll and see if if it does the job, does what we need it to do. Okay, so there's the tool, there's the differential. Here's some of the stuff you're going to need. We're going to put that flange onto the splines of the pinion gear, and then we're going to use this tool here, the puller. Go ahead and install it, use a little bit of grease, and we'll see if we can get it. Okay, got the flange on. I already started working it before with the nut, so that's why it's in the position where it's at. But we're going to finish it with the tool. Okay, put our washer down with the rounded side facing the flange, and put a little bit of grease to go ahead and protect its surface. Now we'll go ahead and install the tool. Okay, so that's the tool installed. We threaded the inner coupling all the way onto the shaft until it's fully seated. Maybe we'll go ahead and just slightly tighten it down here, and then we're going to get ready to rock and roll. See if we can torque this thing. Start sending it forward. Take the play out. This is what the play looks like right now. Not very much, but obviously way too much. So let's see what happens. Okay, step 2. Put a long breaker bar, kind of wedge it to hold it in place so it doesn't spin the coupling nut, the inner coupling nut, off the threads of the pinion gear. Then we'll go ahead and take this big adjustable wrench and see if we can torque it. Don't really have too much space, which sucks, so see what we can do. Okay, so I started doing it, and it actually looks like it was pulling it in, but I also noticed that the pinion flange was rotating, and if the nut here is staying still, that means it's loosening up too at the same time. So decided to put the pinion flange adapter plate on. Yoke flange has a couple different names depending on what you're working on, and kind of wedged a breaker bar right there to hold it. So hopefully all this crap simultaneously works, and we'll probably use your big lobster wrench right there to crank that freaking nut. Let's go. Alright, so I've been working on it now for almost an hour, little by little. The clearance I'm having with the wrench, I don't know, I almost feel like cutting the end off a little bit so I can slip this pipe. I don't know, it's man, the leverage, the amount of force it takes to move it is quite a bit. In working like this, it's pretty difficult. So it's got a little bit more to go. Looks like it's changed. I don't want to say, or it's the same. I don't know, I'll have to check the video, but I'm gonna take a break.